guys. I'm Magda.
And I'm Cruz.
And welcome back to another episode of the Vergüenza Podcast. I hope you guys are doing good today. So, today's topic, giving Valentine's Day right around the corner.
Coming up.
We are going to talk about relationships, the pressure that comes with being not in a relationship or in a relationship, being single, being Hispanic, Latina, and single culture, all of the above. Because I know a lot of mixed feelings come around this time of the year.
Especially the Valentine's Day.
Yeah. So I'm curious though, I'm always curious. What is the dicho que the curious cat, or como?
¿Cuál?
Is it in Spanish or in English? The cat, something about, or the mouse gets in the trap or something. No? Un dicho?
No, I think I've heard it, but we don't use it.
No?
Like, my family doesn't
Right?
use it.
It's in Spanish, right?
Sí.
Yeah. I don't know. I forgot. Hopefully that doesn't happen to you.
No.
How do you feel whenever it comes to Valentine's Day? Like, do you get excited? Or is there a lot of pressure?
Yeah. I think for me, personally, just thinking about Valentine's, I don't really care about it. Maybe I'm too, like, love. But, I don't know. I just don't really care about it. And I know a lot of people might feel pressure because being single, Valentine's Day is coming up. You don't have a partner. There comes with that pressure of, like, you being alone on that day. But for me personally, I don't let that type of mentality get to me where it's like it affects my day.
That's good.
Because for other people, it makes them feel, it reminds them of the pressure of being single or not having that partner with them on that day.
Have you always felt that way? Or was it just like now that you're an adult? Because in high school, I don't know if your school did this, but back in my day, we did like the little, I forget what they're called, but like the little roses or like chocolate or something that you could buy them for a friend or a special someone during school, and they would get delivered at like the end of the day. Did y'all ever do that?
Yeah, we did that.
Did you ever like feel some type of pressure, like if you did or didn't get one?
Honestly, not.
That's good.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of weird, and maybe it's just a me thing, but like I really didn't. No me fijaba.
That's good. That's really good.
And I also didn't want to let it impact me because, I mean, also Valentine's Day, it should remind us, how I see it, should remind us of those who actually love us. Not just a partner, but it can be a friend, it can be close family. So that's how I want to take it.
Yeah. And honestly, I 100% agree with you. I see that now as an adult, but for me in middle school, especially in middle school, I felt some type of way. Yeah. If I didn't get one or something, or I'd be curious, I'm like, oh, like how many I'm going to get? Because like the popular girl got like 10 or something. Yeah. And I'd be over there like getting one from my best friend and some random dude or something, anonymous or something. I don't know. And I don't know, it made me feel some type of way, and I know it shouldn't, but, I was in middle school or, like, in high school, but it's almost like I tied my worth to that, or, like, oh, am I not pretty enough? Am I not, loved enough? Am I not, enough, period,
Yeah.
And I feel like it did kind of have some type of like reservations or like some type of pressure there around that time of the year. And it's crazy because it's like at such a young age, even whenever we would do like the little Valentine's Day in like elementary school or whatever, like, and I think it's changed now where like, everyone gets one, like they make it required.
Yeah, they have to get one for everybody.
Yeah. And they make it just from a certain kid or whatever. But like back in the day, like, sometimes they would put like specifically to who or whatever, and like for me they would be like all blank. So I'm like, dang, like they didn't even take the time who it was from, or my name, like who it was from, and who it was. Like they just put a random little thing right there, and I'm like, ouch. But I would look at little things like that, and I feel like it comes from society, like
At such a young
movies.
age too.
Yep. Movies and like TV shows and music and just culture in general. Like we put so much pressure on us to be a certain way when it comes to love, and especially like when it comes to time, like a timeline. También, by a certain age, you're supposed to already have your first kiss. By a certain age, you're supposed to have, a boyfriend. You're supposed to be going on dates. You're supposed to be engaged. You're supposed to be married.
Have kids.
Yes. And let me ask, like, do you ever think why we get so much pressure, especially when it comes to females? Do you ever sit and wonder why? Besides, obviously, like, society and social norms. Do you ever think like where the root to that is?
I feel like the pressure might also from like exterior pressure, but also inner pressure. Because it feel like there's that fear inside that is like you're gonna be left alone. You're not gonna find anybody. It's gonna be too late. And it builds up with those insecurities. And I feel like that's how we can also create that inner pressure to ourselves of that being sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I totally agree. I feel like as a society, I've said that. As a society, like that's already something that we do to our young girls. And not just girls, but just even, guys too, like, and I feel like if we get pressure of being, single, guys do as well, to a certain extent. There's like a masculinity pressure, like maybe you're not masculine enough or you're not man enough to be with the female, or
it's like that pride.
Yeah,
that men pride to like be married, have kids, be the head of the household. I mean, I still see it now. So,
did you ever? I know you've stated that you never really noticed that, or you didn't allow yourself to fall into that pressure. But were you ever tempted? Like, did you ever hear certain remarks? Because I know Latina aunts love to ask, ¿y el novio? Y el novio. We kind of discussed it during the holidays, specifically cuando we don't see certain family members often enough. And they're like, oh, like, you've grown so much, like, ¿y el novio? Like, what are you doing? You're dating or whatever. Like, did you ever get asked that growing up or right now even?
Yeah. No, I get, not often, but I do get asked, and I do answer respectfully, but in the same just a short answer, just like, no, not right now. But I don't know why they ask it. Like, I don't understand why. Like, it's not any of their business.
And it's crazy because, like, it's frustrating for me because, like, that's usually one of their first questions or, like, remarks. Instead of asking, like, oh, how's school? Like, how are you doing mentally? Like, how do you feel? Like, all these questions.
What are you doing in life?
Your
like, what
goals, Like, for some reason, that question about el novio or, like, your boyfriend or your dating life comes before all these other goals. And for me personally, like, I did get to a point eventually where I saw less of that when it came to the pressure of dating. Because something that, I don't know, I feel like something happened between, like, my freshman year. I know what happened. My freshman year to, like, my sophomore year of high school. And I started seeing, like, dating differently. I knew that I wanted to have a partner in my life. I didn't want just a boyfriend or just a husband. I didn't want to just be a mom. Like, I wanted a life partner. And that's something that I always, and I honestly, like, I feel like I manifested my relationship with Darian because even as a kid, like, I would be told, hey, you're supposed to clean, you're supposed to do this for your husband, you're supposed to do that, blah, 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 blah. Stereotype of a
Or it's
wife.
like because they've told me, my uncles have told me this before. I serve them a cup of coffee and they're like, "Oh, ahora ya te puedes casar." And
Oh my
it's
God.
that I know they're trying to be funny or that's just their humor, but it's those like little
Comments.
that do add up.
Damage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those
It's like,
comments irk me. I despise those comments. And yeah, I would get them all the time too. And I feel like at an early age, and I consider it early high school, 16, 17 years old, like I knew that I wanted a partner. And I would say that, like, whenever comments like that would be said, like, I'd be like, no, like, uh, my husband's gonna cook and clean and work, where it's gonna be a team effort. Like, I knew that. And I feel like because I had that in my head, it didn't bother me when certain relationships didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I knew what my end goal was, and I knew it to be true. And I also I was content with myself too. And I feel like that's a big part of it. Would you agree?
Yeah, I feel like you know your self-worth. And I feel like that's why you made those decisions.
Yep.
That's what it sounds to me like.
And I feel like it kind of goes with what you're saying too, because even at when like the high school stuff, how I mentioned like the little Valentine stuff, like that wouldn't get to you. They wouldn't get to you. And correct me if I'm wrong, like at that point, like you knew your worth as a person, right? Or like you knew some sense of, hey, that does not define me as a person if I don't have a boyfriend or if I don't have a relationship right now.
But I'll add this too. But also, I feel like I always tried to prioritize my education, and I would even tell my mom a boyfriend would be a distraction, and I do not need that right now.
Oh.
And up to this point, I still use that, but it also sounds like a way of me trying to deflect the idea of it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm. Is it though?
And I think so.
Wow. Okay. That's good that you're honest.
I'm so all over the place.
No, you're not. No.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the type of honesty that, we need to have within ourselves. Because I feel like it does get to a point where, we do try to dodge certain questions, and like sometimes it does get to us. Certain comments will get to us. I'm curious though, when did you notice that was something that you have done? Was it here like as an adult now that you're gotten older?
I feel like I've always been like that. I've always been like that. And it might be a coping mechanism of mine just to try to avoid the question. But I think I've always been like that. That trying to always education first. And also I also feel like my dad always told us that, well, especially me and my sister, that if we ever find somebody, find that person, a boyfriend or whatever, and it ends up not being good for us, with our education, with the opportunities that we have, we can leave the education. We don't need them. We don't have to rely on them. And I feel like that has really made a big impact on the way I am. And it can be, I feel like looking at it right now, it can be maybe a little bit too toxic, but at the same time, it's kind of, I don't want to have to rely on anyone. And also, it's like my worth. I know my worth.
I definitely agree when it comes to that mentality, and I love that. I feel like it's a game changer when you do have that support system in your circle, and especially, your parents, especially coming from your dad, right? And I feel like a lot of us don't have that when it comes to that, stability and that guidance and being able to be directed in the right way and be, poured in those good thoughts and those good values. Because I agree. And that kind of ties together with how I was telling you too. I knew that I wanted a partner, And I feel like I've had that mentality, ever since I was young.
Mm-hmm.
And even when it came to marriage and being a mom, I knew that I was going to be a wife. I knew that I was going to be a mom. I knew that I was going to be a partner. But I always knew that besides that, because anybody can be a wife, anybody can be a
Yeah.
mom, anybody can be in a relationship. But besides those points, I wanted to make sure that I could stand on my own if I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have a partner, right? I wanted to make sure that I could provide for myself, that I have an education, I have some type of career. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be more than just a wife, than
Yeah.
just a mom. And I feel like it does help finding yourself first and like knowing your values, knowing the respect that you have for yourself, knowing that what you want to do, what you want for yourself in this life helps so much, because I feel like a partnership, or at least the way I see it, is like you bring two whole people and then you just bring, like, you put it together, and you become a team.
Mm-hmm.
You become a team. And I feel like the thing is, I feel like some people focus too much on wanting to be with someone to the point where it's like they're afraid of being alone, And I know society doesn't help, but I feel like it's so important to be comfortable with yourself and be at peace with yourself and be okay. Be like that's the most important relationship, is the relationship you have with yourself. Because the relationship that you have with yourself impacts the relationship you have with other people, whether it be, boyfriend or family members. And I feel like you have the right mentality when it comes to this season, when it comes to Valentine's Day and being single. And I feel like I can I can only speak to a certain extent,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I know right now with like the state of the world, like, being single may look different right now too.
Actually, according to like New York Times, being single is like the new trend.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with this, but I just wanted to say
Yeah,
it.
no, I can see that.
Yeah.
Especially like being on like TikTok and stuff. Like, there's a trend, especially for females,
Mm-hmm.
is like not settling for something that is not for you and that you
Mm-hmm.
deserve so much more. And I feel like that's toxic too, because like we grow up in our like Hispanic culture, Latino culture, and I'm sure other communities do this as well, where it's like a lot of the times people will stay in relationships for the wrong reasons,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be for the kids, whether it be for, financial stability or any other reason, right? And sometimes it does more harm than good.
Yeah, it's up hurting people. I have a question for you. Thinking from what you just said, do you feel like being married now to your partner? Do you think those insecurities that you might have felt before, or even if you have them right now, do you think they were kind of solved by being with a partner? I don't know if that, yeah.
No,
No?
no.
You still have those types of insecurities that
Yeah,
still dwell on you?
yeah. And not necessarily relationship wise,
Mm-hmm.
but when it comes to Valentine's Day, um, I feel like there's so much competition with like social media to like want to post like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
look what my husband or my boyfriend did for me, or like,
Yep.
a room decked out in balloons and confetti, and like they
Mm-hmm.
glamorize this holiday, every holiday,
Yep.
corporate America, right? So I feel like the pressure doesn't necessarily come from like the relationship, but it's almost like the pressure of just like social media, of like wanting to show a life or something, or like flaunt something.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the pressure that sometimes comes on me. And I feel like the way I it doesn't happen as often now. I will say that it happened more early on in our relationship, when I
Mm-hmm.
was younger, when I was 23, 22 years old. Um and yeah, seeing like certain just social media, like seeing like how I said, like, a decked out, like these Valentine's gifts,
Mm-hmm.
these huge surprises and stuff. But I feel like as I've gotten older and like the relationship that I have with my partner, I feel like that's what makes me feel loved. And like not even like the relationship, but like the little stuff. The little stuff that I feel like have no value. Like, and what I mean by that, they're like literally they're priceless. Like I would have those little moments 1,000 times. Like I would choose that than these crazy, extraordinary, whatever type of gifts. You know?
Los ramos buchones también.
There you go.
Because it just reminded me of my mom because she's like, los ramos buchones.
Yeah. And it's crazy because it's not even, because like I feel like we've kind of touched about the 5 love languages. We need to do an episode on that. Because I know my love language. And it's never been gifts. It's never been gifts. Like you can buy me something, and I feel like sometimes when people give me something, I don't want it to make it seem like, oh, you know, I'm not grateful for it. But it's just because that's just never been important to me. Like a gift, like, and it's crazy because I feel like there is, and I know it just sounds contradicting because like, okay, you know, there's like the pressure you see on social media, but then it's like if someone does give you something, like it doesn't blow my mind. Like it doesn't, there's no value to me, right? But for some reason, I still feel every now and then like that pressure, like, oh, you know, they got so and so or whatever, right? And the reason I point that out is because I do, like, I feel like the little moments to me, because I know my love languages for me is acts of service and quality time. Quality time. Those have always been my 2 love languages. Like if you give me something, if you give me your time, like if you take time out of your day to spend time with me, like that, or even like little errands or something, like, you know, like, I don't know, starting my car up, you know, when on a cold day, you know, like those little things, like that's what matters to me. And like I feel like I get reminded that every single day because the partner that I chose does that for me, and it fulfills that for me. It doesn't take away, like, and I'm being completely honest with you, like every now and then, like, okay, you know, like so and so, like they got this, they got that, but then like I'm reminded like little moments, like, and I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm not grateful enough. I'll be honest, like I feel like sometimes I'm not grateful enough for those moments.
It
for granted. Yeah. And there's some type of guilt that comes with that. So like being in a relationship does not solve those problems. And I feel like that's where people mess up sometimes, is like, oh, okay, you know, I have this perfect relationship and I have this perfect partner and all my problems are solved. No. Like a lot of those insecurities come within. And like I feel like it takes, and we say this all the time, baby steps and redirection and exercising it in your head, because like literally last night we were making baked potatoes for dinner, and like watching like literally I got home because I had to redo my nails yesterday, and I got home like around 7:30, and Darian having like dinner pretty much ready
for you.
Yeah. And like I literally was like standing there, and like I was watching him help me while we were in the kitchen, like grabbing like our drinks and stuff. And like I literally just stood there and just like watched him and just took it in, and just being so grateful for the type of relationship that we have. Because a lot of people don't have that. Like how I said at the beginning, a lot of people stay in toxic relationships for the sake of being in a relationship.
And I feel like also keeping in mind, sometimes what we do put on social media is not really what is happening behind closed doors, because what's behind closed doors is a whole different ballgame.
Exactly.
Like it's a whole different story.
Exactly. And sometimes like you say los ramos buchones or whatever, like someone may post like this huge ramo with like money or whatever and like flowers, but then like on the down low, that guy's probably cheating on her on the daily, you know? And it's just like social media, like you show what you want, like the pretty side.
Not the reality. Nobody wants to share the reality.
Exactly.
It's embarrassing sometimes.
But I want to ask you now, do you now being, I don't know if I already asked this, being older now and being graduated already, do you find yourself like a different sense of pressure now whenever you do get asked certain remarks or there's certain comments?
I feel like now that I am a little bit older and looking at the people that I was surrounded with, a lot of them were already married. And I feel like it did come to a pressure where it's like they're already have their career, married, and I feel like it's like I'm still not at that timeline yet. And so I feel like it does create that pressure on me just because am I being left behind? And it also, and if you start thinking about it, that's why I try not to think about it too much. It does feed into your insecurities.
How do you cope whenever those insecurities do come?
I feel like I just try to not listen to them, not let it get to me in my head. And those insecurities are always, they're still there, but I try not to let it take over how I am. And yeah, I feel like that's how I just try to cope with it.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I love that.
Yeah. And I also see a lot of on Instagram, I see like other women too, where like they're in their 26, 27, and they also, and it's really nice because they're sharing their story too. And they're like, they're still single, they might be living with their parents, but they have their career, they've traveled, they've done so many things, but they still have that pressure of them still being single. And it is an insecurity, but at the same time, it's like they've done so many things. Maybe being with a partner and having kids, we wouldn't be able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's really awesome for like watching them, like their reels too. It's very inspiring too.
Yeah.
That I'm not the only one.
I love that people share, their point of view, and they share they're vulnerable enough to put their lives on, for other people not to feel alone. That's beautiful. I love that. And I feel like it kind of sums up today's episode, because I feel like the point that I'm trying to get across when it comes to this episode, when it comes to relationships, I feel like it's so important how you said at the beginning to know that love is not just the person that you're in a relationship with, but it's your friends, it's your family, it's the love that you have for yourself, the respect that you give yourself, and the peace that you have within yourself, And I feel like around this time of the year, I feel like it's really important to remember those points, because I know it can be hard, with the pressure that society puts on us, especially being females, that there's a time clock ticking, especially when it comes to fertility.
Yep.
Like, when are you gonna have kids? Like, you're getting older, you're not even married yet or whatever. And it's important to speak up and to make our daughters, to empower our little girls and daughters and females, that it's okay to love yourself and have that respect for yourself before you just jump into whatever relationship just because you want to be in one and you don't want to be alone. That's my take. What's your take?
I feel like how my mom says, todo llega a su tiempo, everything comes at its time. And if she prays she prays not just for me, but for my siblings, that we each find a good partner, ideal for us. And I do think that that person is going to come at its time. Like, that's why I don't want to pressure into anything, because I don't want to have those regrets. So I feel like that's my take of it too. Summing up everything that I said.
I agree. I love it. I love it because it's true. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Even if it's a difficult time right now, everything
happens for a reason.
Yes.
And everything comes at its right time too. So.
I agree. Well, I feel like that sums up today's episode. I really enjoyed today's topic. Yeah. I hope you guys did too. And if you guys have any other topic ideas, any recommendations, let us know. We definitely consider them. Yeah, we do. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye. Bye.